Okay, I'm Sadie Bunk, and this whole collaboration today, one of the things that is occurring in our land right now is this whole idea of truth and reconciliation. And for me, this is my opinion, but we have a whole issue that's occurring right now about that. Whoever the powers that be, excuse me, want to destroy, to shred all of the evidence that was gathered through the Truth and Reconciliation Committee, that inquiry that looked at all of this. And for me, my opinion, that I don't think that should happen. I think that material should be around forever because it really does speak to the truth. And so I think that should not happen. So in terms of, for my opinion, then I think when we talk about the whole idea of truth and reconciliation, then we have our truth, but we don't have to reconcile anything. We don't have to reconcile anything because we didn't do anything. We were there, we did what we did, and so our truth is documented in these documents from all across Canada. So I have myself, my own personal opinion is I have a difficulty with that whole idea of reconciliation. I don't think, I myself don't have anything to reconcile. This is what happened and that's it. So somebody else has to do that part. So the truth part is ours, the reconciliation part is Canada's. So I really, when we look at those issues, we really need to think about where we come from and what we did and what exists now and what exists in the future. So this concert today then is examples of people who have continued to evolve our truth on a personal level as performers. We go through, we've done all of these things, and each artist up here today is going to talk about what the kind of work they've done and the kind of things they've explored in their own life and in their performance life as well as their personal lives. And that's what the whole thing today is, to really put a spin on everything so that afterward, when we all get to eat, and we will eat, and you guys better eat lots. we can
brought
yeah, should have brought your glad bags. But you can really talk to the artists and really talk about the kinds of things that have occurred in our lives as artists, and I think that's the interesting thing for me, because as I work for the Oneida Nation Arts Program, we're developing material for kids, and that's what it's all about. Like, we really, as an artist, we go around in our truth and we try to prepare, open doors, make things happen, make our kids see something brand new, or so they can think about innovation, and then they can think all of a sudden they're on a stage doing something that was innovative to us, but it's just what they're doing. So when as artists, then one of our roles is to do things, have the freedom, the joy, the capability to do what we do as an artist. So that's what today is about, is to really celebrate those kinds of things and to look and see a new truth in the individual artists that are on stage. And so I would like to introduce Rene Meshake.
I'm a survivor of Indian residential school. I went to McIntosh Indian Residential School, Fort Francis Indian Residential School. And when I graduated, I had this rage. And I took to alcohol. I would put a lid on things, how to cope with this rage, because I was sexually abused and all that. And I believed that my culture, Anishinaabe, was inferior. That's what they told me. Your culture is inferior and your language is inferior. And feeling that way, I started to hate me. I hate self-hatred in all the Anishinaabe, everybody that was Aboriginal, I hated. And it took the miracle in Toronto after 6 years of homelessness. I went to Pilaban Lodge. It's a rehab. And that's where I was taught there's a medicine wheel, the 4 directions, of, okay, Rene, I didn't know how to express this. You see, in the 4 directions, they taught me that the first thing is to identify the issue. Why are you here? What, and then to express that hurt. Then you'll notice a great change. And then the 4th was the change. So after about, let's say, 8 months of therapy, I felt this feeling inside me. I was really coming out. The rage was starting to bubble up, and it went through my throat into my eyes, and then all of a sudden I blanked out, and I saw a bad television set, and I went into rage. I found myself punching a punching bag that someone threw on the floor, and for the first time in my life, a hand touched my shoulder. It was one of the women. It was very soft, welcoming. And from there, I started to get off of the floor, and I started floating around like, wow, this floor is soft, And the group said, let's go for a walk. And I was walking up there by the lake shore, and everything felt so soft. The load I've been carrying is gone, And I started writing. I started writing poetry. I started getting into my music, and expressing all the residual hurt in me. As I've been doing that over 27 years of sobriety, 27 years of practicing my art. That's why I'm here.
So I want to introduce you to Jani Lauzon.
Sadie. So my daughter grew up in Banff too, and I think actually Sadie helped organize my daughter's baby shower, which was truly in Banff. That's great. Yes, we have a long history there. So I'm just trying to figure out maybe what to start with. I'm going to start with a song called Bigger Than All of Us, and it's just coming out of the stories that have been told already. The realization, especially when you become a parent, about your responsibility and your relationship to this beautiful, amazing gift of children that are given to us or that we share with others, opened up my heart in a way and my mind in a way that it really needed to. So this is a song called Bigger Than All of Us.
And I'll tell you a little bit about this particular rattle. A long time ago, I don't know, 30, 35 years ago, 40 years ago maybe, not that I'm that old. But this was my rattle. It was made in 1967, and we had a singing practice at my house in 1967, and this rattle was left at the house. Whatever singer came there left this rattle at the house. And so my dad just threw it in his rattle bag, and every time that we'd have singing practice, we'd say, "There's a rattle in there. Any of you guys know whose rattle that is? Tell them that it's here, or take it, because it's not our rattle." Anyways, nobody ever claimed it. So after a few years of being in the rattle bag, then I said, "Oh, I like that rattle," so I claimed it. So anyways, so all these years I've had this rattle, and I sang with it, sang all over the place with it. And then one day I was in Oklahoma, and I met this man, and he was going through a divorce, and he was having a really hard time in life, and he's a singer, and he was just really, really not in a good way. And he said, he was telling me all about this big sad story about his life, and then, you know, and he said that it really, really, he goes, he didn't feel like singing anymore. And when I thought, oh my God, you know, what's up with that? So I was sitting there talking with him, and so I said to him, I said, well, you know what? I said, here, I'm going to give you this rattle. I'm going to give it to you, and you keep singing. You use this and you keep singing, whatever. You just keep singing, don't stop singing. And so he took it. He said, thank you very much, you know, and he really appreciated it, and it made him feel good. So off he went. And I tell you what, the next day after that event, I was like, oh, I gave my rattle away. So it wasn't, I really, at the moment, it seemed like the right thing to do. Anyways, so I was glad. I was glad he had it, and I was glad that he felt better, and he was going to keep on singing, I hoped.
Yeah.
Anyways, over the years, like maybe 25 years later, I get this package in the mail, and it was from Kansas, and I get this package in the mail, and I thought, what is this? You know, so I opened it, and it was this rattle. And a friend of mine sent it back. A friend of mine sent it back to me from Kansas. So when I seen him again, I said, where did you get this rattle? How did you? Because it's my rattle. I got it back. And I said, how do you get this rattle? And he said, you know, he goes, I was talking to so and so, John. His name was Jani. He goes, I was talking to John. And one day, and he was going through a divorce. He said, when I was going through my divorce, he said, I was having a real hard time. And he's a singer too. And he said, I really, he goes, I felt really not like singing. He goes, I didn't want to sing anymore. I just didn't want to sing. And he goes, so John came along, and John gave me this rattle. And he said, you keep singing. You keep singing. I'm going to give you this rattle. You keep singing. Don't stop singing. And he said, so that's John. So I can hold on to rattle better. And so I'm going to sing the next songs with this rattle. But the thing that might be interesting to all of you is we are also having a rattle making workshop to make these rattles on November 10th and 11th. And you can sign up for that and make your own rattle on that 2-day workshop over the weekend. And this lady right here, Lynn Nicholson, who's instrumental, by the way, in putting on this performance, that's who you talk to her about signing up. And it's rattle making, so it's one of these rattles you can make. And the artist's name is Skye. He's the one that's going to do the rattle making stuff.